Alright guys, so I'm going to be painting this bedroom here. And I'm going to show you how I do it. There's a lot of videos out there on how to paint bedrooms and all that stuff, I bet. But since I'm doing this channel for Pro Status Painting, I want to show you how I paint them. So the first things first, what I did was I moved everything to the middle. And we try to get rid of as much clutter as you can. So that's the first step. Move everything in the middle. Second, I went ahead and I grabbed the broom. I swept everything out so it's nice and clean so my tape sticks. This is where the blue tape comes in now. So what I'm doing is I'm going to add a layer of blue tape along the baseboard. What it does is it's when you peel it off, so much easier to peel off. If you use orange tape, it tends to stick there longer. If it tends to stick there longer, then it's going to stick really, and it's going to leave residue behind. And with blue tape, it does not do that. So it's a good idea to put blue tape first along your baseboards if you have tile flooring or hardwood flooring. If you have carpet, then for sure I would use orange tape. All right, so I'm going to give you a little video here on how I even apply the tape. Now here's a tip. When you're applying the tape, always, so there's two types of prepping. If you're going to spray the baseboards, which in this case we're not, but if you were going to spray, then I would definitely suggest putting the tape right on the edge, just covering the floor. But in this case, we're doing this by hand. So when you paint it, well, not by hand, but with a brush. So when you paint it by brush, at the same time when you're painting it, you're applying pressure. If you were to put the tape right on the edge, that pressure when you paint, the paint's gonna bleed through. So what I always do is I go up on the baseboard just a tiny little bit to create a seal, and then I smash it with my fingers, nails, to make that nice clean corner. But I got tape on the baseboard just a little tiny bit. You're never gonna see that because obviously it's a little microscopic. All right guys, so here it is. I went ahead and I throw plastic on everything. Always make sure you throw plastic on everything. So after you're done with the plastic, all the floor is covered. Then you start doing your patchwork. This is a smooth wall, so we just went a patch. I'm gonna sand it down in between coats. So yeah, so then after you do the patching, then you do your caulking. So that way that stuff starts to dry. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and put a first coat on the doors and jambs, on all the trim baseboards. Let that dry. Then I'm gonna do a first coat on the ceiling. I'll go from there. All right guys, so as you can see, I went ahead and I painted the ceiling. It's gonna take another coat, so I'm gonna do that right now. And I spot primed all the patches. You always want to do that so that way you get a primer coat. And I painted this countertop here. Now make sure whenever you guys are doing sealing or caulking, use paintable caulking. The contractor who built this here, they use silicone. So now I'm gonna have to prime all that with kilts. Hopefully that works. But yeah, use paintable caulking all the time. It's all silicone. Silicone it repels the paint. So this is an update. And as you can see, I did a trim. I did a coat. All the baseboards already. Around the window trim. And I did my doors. Woohoo! So this is day 2. All right, guys. So I went ahead and I cut everything in. I rolled everything out. First coat. I just gotta wait for this first coat to dry so I can do a second coat. But right now, I'm gonna give you a little tip. So these walls are the smooth wall. I ended up putting tape on a door jamb. Because it's smooth wall to a smooth surface. So when you do tape like that, it comes out really nice and clean. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and take off the tape off the door jambs because it's still fresh. The paint is still fresh. And the idea is you don't want the paint to dry and then you take the tape off, because in some instances, sometimes you will get where you'll peel back the paint, finished paint. I've actually fixed jobs depending on the paint. So one time I went and fixed a job and they left the tape all around the ceiling, the door casings, baseboards, and then they left it for one full day. They came back the next day, started taking off the tape, and it just ripped everything apart. It just peeled back the paint. And what happened was it sealed to the tape. So when you take the tape off, it pulled back the paint. So it depends on the paint. If it's a hard drying paint, hard finish, then it won't do that. But if it's a soft drying finish, which I'll explain in another video on the differences on that. If it's a soft one, then it will peel the paint off if you leave the tape on there. So right now I'm just gonna take the door jambs, only the door jambs ones off, because the baseboards is down there. It won't do that to the baseboards. Okay. Bam. And then because when we take it off the baseboards, when you take it off, another tip too is cutting it. So that's probably all I'm doing, getting a little blade, cutting the tape off. Just make a little cut, and that's gonna separate the paint from the tape. Then you can just peel the tape off. Okay, guys? But that's only if you need to. But for sure, take off the tape off the door jambs and door casings and window casings. And see, my lines are nice and clean because it's a smooth surface. If, like I said, if it was textured, if it was a brand new house textured with orange peel, then I don't recommend it, but I would do it in case you want to save some time in cutting in. But if it's a knockdown texture, I would definitely want to do that. All right, guys, so this is the finished product right here. Yeah, the baseboard's all touched up, door touched up, ceiling painted. The customer's gonna go ahead and hang the window features and all that later today. Came out good, like it. So we did second coat on the walls today, cleaned everything up, did touch up on the baseboards, touch up on all the windows. And there it is, it's all done. Please comment, subscribe, and hit like. Thank you, bye.